Welcome once again to the Emory James Museum at St. Andrew High School for Girls. And we have with us today a very interesting person to interview. That's Mrs. Mary Clarke. And she is Jamaica's first children's advocate. She received the Order of Distinction in the rank of Commander CD in 2011 for her contribution to advancing the rights and best interests of Jamaican children. And of course, Mrs. Clarke's connection to St. Andrew High School is as a teacher. And we'll hear more about that later. Welcome, Mrs. Clarke.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's lovely having you, and we wanted to hear a bit about how you actually got to teaching at St. Andrew High School. I mean, you might want to tell us about your education leading up to it and how you were interested. You taught history and religious education, I believe. Yes.
Well, I studied at the University of West Indies. I did a Bachelor of Arts, General History and Spanish. And then I did a diploma in education. At that time, the government was encouraging persons to go into teaching and invited persons to apply for scholarships. Well, I was one of those who got the scholarship. So I went straight into debate and then started to teach afterwards. I came to St. Andrew High School after my husband decided he didn't like Mandel, it was too dead. And he wanted to come back to Kingston. So I came back to Kingston, applied for a job at St. Andrew High School, then found out I was going to have child number 1. So I called Mrs. Saunders and said, I'm so sorry, I can't take this job. I'm going to have a baby. And she said, well, when is the baby due? I said, October. And to my surprise, she said, can you come in January? I said, yes. So my first day was January 1972 at St. Andrew High School. And that was an emotional day. I don't know how I lasted the day because I was leaving my little baby for the first time.
Okay.
So it was quite an emotional day. In every way, you come into a new school and I suppose you understand that when you're leaving your baby for the first time, what it means like.
And that was your first son, was it?
My first child, first son, yes.
And St. Andrew High School, what did you find? Anything interesting at St. Andrew High School?
Well, for me, I was teaching at a co-ed school before, so here I am coming to an all-girls school, so I had to get used to that. That was different.
How different was that?
I like the balance with the boys. I found the girls were well behaved, but as soon as they came to school, they are looking your head to toe. I wasn't used to that, head to toe look, and what shoes you wanted. I didn't like it at all. I had to get used to that and say, okay, I'm going to be, I'll get the head to toe look, and I'd better get used to it. So that was different.
And you said Mrs. Saunders was the principal at that time?
Yes.
Any other principals you worked on?
Oh, I worked with Miss Reader, and very, very briefly with Dealer Report.
Right. How did you find the difference in management styles?
I think basically they wanted the same, the strict discipline of the children. Miss Saunders tried to discipline the teachers too. She would call them to the office for just about everything. I remember this teacher she thought her skirt was too short. And another one, and we had fun, She wore a sheer blouse. And so her bra could be seen. She was called up to the office. So she disciplined teachers and students. Miss Reader was a quiet, effective manager. Mrs. Rapole was much more outgoing. And the big difference I found with Dealer Rapole is her willingness to offer praise where commendation was due. She was not afraid to commend if she thought communication was good. So that was different.
And tell me a bit about the girls at the time. I mean, you were teaching both history, and I believe you had a unique way of introducing the girls to history.
Yes,
tell me about that.
I just love teaching the girls history. I think my love started at high school, because I actually got a distinction in history in high schools. So I did love history. And when I say high schools, that dates me. High school. But what we tried to do, and I had a partner in teaching, SAHS.360. Interestingly, when I couldn't come to St. Andrew, she was asked to act for me in that term, September to December 71, and she was so good, Mrs. Saunders kept her on. So we made quite a partnership. I remember teaching about Rome, for example. We told all the girls to bring their dolls to school, and we had them dressed in the Roman costume and toga. I remember once we had an open day, and we chose as our theme, history is fun, because the children used to complain so much about history. So Hansen, Alan, and I decided that we're going to make this fun. And so we just did everything. It was an activity class, it was drama. It was so noisy. I had an experience I have to tell about that. The teacher downstairs went to complain to Mrs. Saunders that the lady upstairs doesn't seem to be managing her class with so much noise. I didn't know. I only saw Miss Saunders standing up at my door one day looking very stiff and rigid. I continued my class. They were doing some presentation on Rome or Greece, and they were fully involved in the drama of it. And at the end, she called me and said, I got a complaint that your class was very noisy, but I see where your girls are enjoying themselves. That's when I knew about the complaint. So God worked it out. You know, she came and saw children.
That's a tribute to
all
yours,
excited. And yeah, so I did have that kind of problem.
And that's a tribute to your teaching style, which clearly worked.
It was different,
yes.
And they weren't used to it. So we had, you know.
But I believe you also taught the girls, especially the first formers, the history of the school at some point.
Yes,
when did you
Hansen Allen who suggested it. If we're going to teach history, Mary, let us start with the history of the school. Because that was the time when the whole education system, we are moving away from the British history and GCE and A-level to doing the history of the region. So we started to collect material to teach about the history of the school. That was so exciting. We found all kinds of material and our magazine and got them copied and started the girls with the history of the school. And that was such a good way for first formers to get fully immersed in the school and to want to make a contribution as they heard about contribution others had made. So the girls enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it so much.
Wonderful. And now you're sitting in the museum, which is really a reflection of the history of the school.
Right. And I hope we take the children here, the first formers here, so they can learn about the history, visual presentation, and they can be inspired by the achievements of others. So I had some wonderful girls. I met one last Friday when I came to the commemoration. She was reminding me about the shower party they had for me when I was expecting my third child. And I had some precious memories of those girls.
It's wonderful.
That was the year I got 100% pass at the 6th level.
Wonderful.
Yes.
So we're going to take a break now.
Yes.
We're going to take a break, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more about your career.